Welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio from Stewards Planning Group. Stewards Planning Group is a company that specializes in helping you build purposeful retirement plans, custom plans that not only help clients steward their treasure, but also their time and talent as well. They believe if you're taken care of financially, you can go even further to make the family, community, and kingdom impact you truly desire to make, which is the ultimate purpose of wealth. If you'd like to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting with one of their financial advisors, please give them a call at 222-4236. You can request a meeting at stewardsplanning.com, or you can simply stop by their office on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. I'm your host, Ben Taatjes, joined again in our studio with Tim Mattern, one of our financial advisors. Tim, how you doing?
Good, Ben. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You know, we're winding down summer. I hate to even say that, but we're into August now, and what's kind of crazy is I got kids going back to school. My youngest, believe it or not, is a senior this year. So it's my last year with somebody at home, and it's got me thinking a lot.
I was going to say, how you doing over there?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay, and I think for me, I'm thinking about like many of us in this age group, or people that have passed this age group, is did I do enough? How have I prepared my girls? How have I prepared them to go off on their own? And something that we talk about a lot on this show is, of course, we're talking about retirement planning. We're talking about stewardship all the time. And part of stewardship is preparing the next steward, right? So we can steward, and which basically is just, we're taking care of something that's entrusted to us, which I love our new name. And I love that side of it. So that's all we're doing, right? We're watching over to the absolute best of our abilities, things that are entrusted to our care. And I think about that because I've been stewarding these girls for 17, 18, 19 years, and man, did I do enough? And I think thanks to my wife, I think the answer is yes. And I think as we look at them, something I think about a lot is, could they handle our wealth right now? Something I always tell my girls is, we don't let them fly first class if we ever do, and we kind of put them. That's a rule. They're always sitting behind us in the plane, and it's not because I don't love them, but it's because I'm trying to make sure that they don't come up with this entitlement, right? And they continue to see gratitude in their lives, and we've tried to do a very good job of that. And it's not always easy, but it's something that we do, and I deal with that with a lot of our families. It's like, how do you prepare the next steward? How do you train them so they're ready someday to receive the wealth that could come to them? And the key here is you don't start at the end. You don't start, when they're grown. You start as young as possible. If you haven't done a lot till now, you start now.
Yep.
Right now. And that's kind of what I want to tee up today's show a little bit with, because one of the things that I think gets missed a lot when we talk about certainly financial planning, but also estate planning and all the other work that we end up doing here with our clients and with the attorneys we work with, is preparing the next steward. And one of the things that this new One Big Beautiful Bill did for our clients and for us as planners is it made permanent the estate and lifetime gift tax exemption to an inflation indexed $15 million or $30 million for joint filers. So $15 million per person, that's a lot of money.
Yep.
Of course, Minnesota, a little behind, and we're kind of stuck in a lower exemption level at $3 million. And there's a small business additional amount for that. But one of the things I wanted to talk about with you is, now that we know we're not sunsetting back to the $5 million per person that it was going to be here at the end of the year, we kind of have some planning. And I think some clients are making the mistake. They're saying, well, if I can pass all that money someday, I don't have to worry about doing anything today. That'd be a mistake, wouldn't it be?
Absolutely. And that's what I think, and we'll go over these 4 topics, so to speak, but I'm going to jump into the first one, which is review your estate plan. And I'm assuming that at some point, when the girls were growing up through junior high in that age, you guys didn't say, okay, they're good. You probably had a conversation with each other, reevaluate it, like, are we doing what we can do to help them do or be successful in college and out of college. Like, you only have them for so many years until, okay, let's see how it goes. So part of that is with your estate plan, even if you're in your 50s, like, look at your plan, review it, and say, okay, these now, high deductions are in place for a long time. Should we be looking for certain pieces? Should we be strategizing, that type of thing, as opposed to just, hey, we did this, we're 55, and set it and forget it? That's definitely not the way or the approach to go.
Yeah, well, let me correct you on one thing there. I'm not in my 50s yet.
Well, I'm not saying you were.
Okay. So just making sure that our audience knows. But so I think as I
you look 40.
Yeah, thank you. I look at the girls, and I'm like, okay, we've done our best. And I think one of the things that wealthy families that we coach and help through this is, yes, preparing the next steward. That starts today with strategies, with helping them see, let's give them something today. Of course, that's something not always used in estate plans, is that we can pass. Remember, Minnesota doesn't have estate tax, or Minnesota doesn't have gift tax. So we're able then to give, right, to our children up to $19,000 federally without even filing a gift tax return. So there's a way that you kind of start, and that's per person.
Correct.
So actually you start doubling that. You're going down to the generations of grandkids, et cetera. A lot of our families are doing that. Again, but you don't just, give them that without any coaching.
Yeah.
Part of it's preparing them, right?
Yep. And that's where the strategy comes into place. And you just said $19,000 per person. So you can give your son or daughter and their spouse, grand total, that's $76,000 that can be transferred from one generation to the next, which is, I think, sometimes we forget how big that number can be, and how with these huge deductions, you have the ability to start strategizing. What does it look like for heirs? What does it look like for your charitable gifting? All those pieces come into play.
Yeah, and that's something that we talk about a lot with stewardship too, is, yes, not only preparing your children to be the next steward, but you're also looking at giving outside of your family, right? And helping our clients steward well with their charitable causes as well, which there's a lot of cool things that we can do within IRAs, with QCDs, and even donating, today, saying within your family, something I'm working with a client right now is, we're going to be changing their beneficiary to their donor advised fund. So someday, like a large portion of their IRA will go tax free, right, to a donor advised fund. And now that donor advised fund, their children will be giving from that for generations potentially, or for a long time. So I really love the idea of, again, stewardship. And we only got to touch on just scratching the surface, right, with what we want to talk about today. So we'll continue this conversation next week. But again, I want to make sure our listeners hear, like, this new tax bill does make some things permanent, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't plan today and start preparing the next steward to steward well. So from all of us at Stewards Planning Group, until next week, steward well.
Do you need help stewarding your time, your talent, or your treasure? If so, Stewards Planning Group can help. Now is the time to set up a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. You can do this one of three ways. Number one, give them a call right now at 222-4236. You can request a meeting online at stewardsplanning.com, or you can just stop by their office located on 19th Avenue Southwest in Wilmer. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Time, Talent, Treasure Radio. We'll see you next time.
Securities offered through Avantax Investment Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Avantax Advisory Services. Insurance services offered through an Avantax affiliated insurance agency.